Hey there, once again YouTube. This video is going to be my response to the user Touya82TT and his questions for Transformers collectors. Touya is an excellent YouTuber. You'll find his channel floating around here and in the sidebar. I would definitely recommend checking out Touya's channel. He's a very talented graphic artist and also does some absolutely fantastic toy reviews. Right then, on to the questions. Number 1. When you purchase your toys, do you have a limit that you impose on yourself as to how many you get at a certain time, or is it as many as you can possibly afford or want? I do tend to impose a monetary limit that I then routinely ignore. I always go at least £20 over my limit, and usually a bit more than that. So whatever limits I do impose upon myself are usually completely arbitrary and secondary to whatever temptation arises. I find it very difficult to resist when something shiny or nicely coloured catches my eye, unfortunately. 2. When you unbox your toy, do you keep any of the packaging or instructions? Very rarely. Only if the box art is really nice, or if the box itself is beautiful, or sort of a collector's piece in and of itself. Only then. It's very rare I keep any of the box art, and I don't use the instructions, so certainly don't keep them. Number 3, is posing your figure for display of high importance to you? Not really, no. As long as I've got space to put them, that's all that really matters to me. It's of more importance than whether they're within easy reach so I can play with them. Number 4, do you own multiples of the same figure, excluding repaints? No. Although there are exceptions, I wouldn't mind having multiples of Scourge in any of his incarnations, because then you could use them as the sweeps. I also wouldn't mind having multiples of the Insecticons either, because you could use them as their clones. You could have a whole swarm of Insecticons. That would be fantastic. 5. Do you buy or avoid any characters because they are repaints? Rarely, no, not necessarily. I've got nothing in particular against repaints, as long as the repaints are pertinent to the character in question. I mean, there are some examples I can think of very recently that I will not buy because they're not pertinent to the character at all. The recent repaint of the Universe Classic Cyclonus into the Autobot Strafe, for example, that just does not work. Cyclonus's body sculpt is so idiosyncratic and specific to him, and it just doesn't work for Strafe as a character. Strafe is, in many respects, the exact opposite of Cyclonus, whereas Cyclonus is utterly self-assured and confident and composed. Strafe is a neurotic mess. It just doesn't work at all. So no, I wouldn't buy that. But otherwise, if the repaint is pertinent, I don't mind. Number 6. Which is most important to you when purchasing a toy? Visual aesthetic, character, personality, toy playability, ingenuity of transformation, rarity, or how new the toy is? It's usually a combination of factors, but I'd have to say on balance, one of the most important things to me is the character. The character and the mythology is one of the things that really attracts me to Transformers. It's so unique in terms of toy lines, in particular the excellent toy lines of the 80s that all generally tend to have a rather good mythology behind them and some very interesting characters. The Transformers is particularly unique simply because the characters are themselves so interesting and so multifaceted. Even those that are a bit more simplistic than the others, the icons, if you like, such as Megatron and Optimus Prime, are actually rather interesting, or they've become more interesting as time has gone on, and they've accrued complexities and little tics and neuroses and whatnot. I'm particularly interested in the motivations of the characters. It's why I find the Decepticons more interesting and more attractive than the Autobots. I mean, the Decepticons are characters that tend to be defined by their neuroses, which is of course much more human and much more interesting. Whereas the Autobots generally tend to be hero archetypes of one form or another. The only Autobots I can think of that really interest me in character terms are characters like Skylynx or Rodimus Prime or Repugnus that have certain flaws to their personality that lends them depth. Number 7. Do you keep missiles, launchable weapons loaded for firing, stored or on the figure, or separately? It depends. If the missiles are essential to the overall look of the toy, then I'll keep them on the toy, and I'll usually disable the firing mechanism if I can get away with it as well. Like on the classic Seekers, for example, where you have the wonderful null rays down the sides of their arms. I keep the missiles in for them, but I disable the firing mechanisms. I take the spring out, so they won't flout off all over the place. Otherwise, I'll keep them in a little bag that's in one of the drawers over there. Number 9, what is your personal favourite toy line? Difficult. Very difficult. Up until recently I would have said G1, but there are lots that are now fighting for that top slot. Some of the Beast Wars lines are right up there. The Transmetal 2s, for example. The Transmetal 2s are some of my favourite Transformers toys ever produced. The animated line, that's right up there as well, and that is accruing points fast, I can tell you. That's about drawing even with G1 at the moment in my mind, because the toys are so beautiful, and it's got some of the very best toys, full stop, in any Transformers line in it, so animated is right up there. Number 10, if Rapid Run leaves Tokyo at 100 miles per hour and Rail Spike leaves Kyoto at 130 miles per hour and both leave at exactly 4 PM, how long will it take them to realise they're actually giant robots and don't need to adhere to train schedules? About as long as it took me to lose interest in that question, I think. Anyway, my apologies to Touya, by the way, for the lateness of this. I do owe him another video as well, but that one's going to be slightly more academic and requires a wee bit more consideration and research, methinks. So, worry not, I haven't forgotten, and I will be producing it when I've got all of the pertinent information and composed it in my mind.